take a stand for God, you better be ready to be mocked by the world. You better be ready to have family that don't understand what you're doing, friends that don't understand what you're doing, relationships where your partner doesn't understand what you're doing. You better be ready to literally be belittled by the world, especially when somebody who is faithless expects you to support them the same way you were supporting them before you got saved. You can't, we can't even support everything. We don't support our past lives no more. We just use it as a testimony. We ain't out here boasting in what we used to do, how we used to think, how we used to act. You can't do that. It's like I realized something. When a faithless person makes a decision and God has given a faithful person a revelation behind that decision, they get offended when you don't support them. No, I can't support your business. God showed me that you're gonna begin to idolize the money you're gonna be making. I can't support that. I don't want you walking in the wrong direction. No, I can't support your relationship. That person's gonna drag you backwards. That person's gonna cause delay in you and your relationship with God. I can't support that. I can't I can't be there for your every move. Everything you do is not from the Holy Spirit. Only the Holy Spirit is right 100% of the time. I can't just be there because we known each other for so long that you expect me just to accept whatever it is you're gonna go through with. I can't do that. Sometimes we have to offend people. And we just have to leave them clueless on why we didn't support them, why we told them to slow down, why we told them to wait before you get married, why we told them to don't apply to that job, not to go there. Sometimes people, they just, all they can see is what their plan is. And as soon as you take a stand against that because God showed you something that was going to cause delay or a spiritual warfare on their life because of that decision, they begin to think you just don't support them. You just don't love them no more. You don't want to be friends no more. It ain't that. I just see you going down the wrong path. I just see something you can't see, and I prefer you to stay right with God. I prefer you to stay upright in your life instead of going down a path of darkness. I don't want to see you walking around in the maze. I don't want to see you confused and you don't have peace in your home because of the decisions you made. I don't want to see that. But instead, we got to take the different route. We got to say, God, you showed me what you showed me. I told them what you told me. And after that, if they continue to make their own decisions, they continue to make their own decisions. You continually pray for that person so they can have revelations like you got revelation. God often warns people from a third person. Another person comes in and tells that person, hey, don't do that. But we don't want to listen. We don't want to register it. We don't want to hear what God has to say. We think that God going to talk to us ourselves. A lot of times God does already talk to us ourselves, but we don't have a sensitive ear to hear him. So he sends somebody else, and then when that person comes in front of us, we reject it. We consider it hating. We consider it, oh, that person, they just don't want to see me made. They don't want to see me up. You sure about that? Before you tell God what his voices sound like, make sure you know who God is. Every decision you make isn't a wise decision. You should love it when a person comes around, and I'm talking about if you have discernment. You should love it when a person comes around and they point you back in the right direction. And they're warning you and they're telling you to slow down. Because me personally, I would hate it if I'm making a wrong decision and ain't nobody told me nothing. They all there for it. Yeah, go ahead, do it. Go ahead, do it. 3 years later, I ain't got no peace. I'm confused. I feel distant from God. I feel numb in my sin. Don't even feel like sin no more. I don't want to be like that. I don't want nobody who's okay with me being like that around me either. I don't need you being blind to spiritual warfare. That's not my preference. I put it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, God really be giving us some deep warnings. He be giving us a stand to take, and he lets us realize that we're going to become mocked by the world. We're going to get made fun of. We're going to get belittled. We're going to feel like once we tell somebody like, man, ain't nobody by my side. Like, you sure this was you, God? Like, everybody against me now. I don't have anybody supporting me. What's going on? But at the same time, it's like if God told you something, you need to stand on that. That's all the support you need right there. You don't need somebody without a revelation supporting you. They don't even get the fullness of what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? There's no way I can support somebody starting an alcoholic business. I can't support you doing that. Why would I? Why would I support sin? Why would I support you getting in an unequally yoked marriage? I can't support that. I love you as a person, but I don't have to love the decisions you make. You feel what I'm saying? I can love the fact that you want to start a business. That doesn't mean I have to love your particular business or the way you started it. Nobody said I had to be bound to that. But we get so offended and we take everything to heart instead of seeing the bigger picture. Oh, they just want to see me in heaven. They don't want to see me get lost in my sins and being so numb towards God that I never get right. But instead, and I'm talking about from my past self as well, but instead, when we so full of ourselves, when we think that we got the right plans planned out, we want to act like everybody who doesn't agree with us just doesn't want to see us make it. And the first time we feel a little pain, we feel some pain and like, they was never there for me. They was there for you the most. That person that heard from God and gave you a warning was there for you the most. They spoke up when you wasn't listening. But we don't look at it that way because we still can't hear them. How long is it that it's going to take us to become sensitive to the Spirit? You know you need to get right with God, but you steady playing. Steady playing. It took me a while. I ain't gonna lie. It took me a while, but there was something deep inside of me that just kept calling. It kept calling, and one day I just said, you know what? I'm gonna give this stuff up because it wasn't satisfying me in the first place. A distraction ain't gonna satisfy me. This maze I'm running in, I'm getting tired of the maze. I want to figure out why I'm here. What's my purpose? How can I help other people? I'm seeing people depressed around me. I'm seeing people just chasing things that really ain't getting them nowhere. The same thing over and over again. Like, I'm not seeing any growth. I got tired of that. I started wanting real support. I wanted the truth. I wanted something that was going to set me free and the people around me free. I don't want something that's just going to satisfy my right now emotion. Emotions change too much for me to just simply want something for the heat of the moment. I can't keep doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like all support isn't even good support. Everybody that disagrees with you isn't hating on you. If you can ask God for discernment and for revelation behind the motives of the person that is, giving you a warning or giving you advice, you can see clearer. You can tell the difference when a person is trying to delay God's blessing versus when a person is trying to delay an attack of the enemy. That's what discernment would do for you. You can see who's on what side. But we don't even take the time to see who's on what side because we too caught up in our emotions. How you going to tell me to stop living with a person? How you gonna tell me to break up with old girl? She been there since the 11th grade. She been there when I was down bad and had no money. How you gonna tell me to just leave her alone? When you think with your emotions and you think with your logic, you know what I'm saying? There's not gonna be a plan better than the one you already came up with. Your heart already settled for less. So when God tries to bring something bigger, you think it ain't worth nothing. Because you don't see it yet. You haven't felt it yet. You don't have that emotional soul tie with it yet. It doesn't make sense to let go of something when you don't have nothing else in your hand. That's how we be reacting. You get what I'm saying? It's like we got to stop with all this, oh, they never was there for me. Only such and such was there for me because they didn't agree with you. Was you even there for you? God was there for you your whole life, but you ain't listened to him. He been calling you your whole life, but you didn't listen to his voice until you got in your mid-50s. Till later on, he was trying to stop so much stuff, but you kept ignoring his voice. Stop saying people are against you when they're trying to help you. You get what I'm saying? It's like, I just noticed like so many people of the world, they try to mock somebody who was trying to point them in the right direction. And it's like, all right, you don't want real help? Go ahead. I'm not here to change you. I'm just here to give you the warning. I'm just here to plant a seed and let God water it. I don't know how fast this seed is supposed to grow. That's not up to me. That's up to God. But when somebody is being used by God, do not treat them like they're being used by the devil. You can't even tell who their enemy is, but you want to cast judgment. Man, take God serious. Take the time to hear his voice. All support ain't good. All hating ain't actually hating. Focus on what's the right direction you need to go to. Check your motives on why you do what you do and why you did what you did. Tap in with God. Make sure you right with him before you cast judgment on another person.